to New Hampshire. We are here making a difference. We're showing people how to be private, and we're doing it in a way that doesn't take anything from them, because we're not asking anything of them. So it's a wonderful thing. Everybody here is so free-spirited. It's the most amazing event I've ever been to, honestly. We got smoothies going on. We're giving away our t-shirts, and we got a big movie every night that we're showing the whole community. We got all these little kids that we're getting into the pirate, right, and teaching them about privacy. And we're doing some really amazing stuff here tonight. Welcome, my name is LooTz, and today I'm going to tell you how I became a pirate. So how many of you in here own Bitcoin? Yeah, you shouldn't have told me that. That's called privacy. All right, so now you're a target, right? For anybody, it doesn't have to be just tyrants. I've been big on in my life. I've never liked tyrants in my life, and there's all forms of tyrants in everybody's lives, right? A tyrant could be your father. A tyrant could be your employer, right? So many tyrants in your life. So at some point, where do you draw the line? Where do you say, that's it, I'm tired, I'm not going to do this anymore? And so I come from Brooklyn. I don't know if it was obvious or not. And I grew up in Queens and random parts of New York. And I was a corporate slave. And many of you might be corporate slaves as well. I worked for a Fortune 30 company as a network engineer. AmerisourceBergen for many, many years. And at some point, I did not like where I was, and I did not like where my life was going, right? Because I followed all the rules, right? I went to public schools. I wasn't anything, I was raised in Queens. I went to PS41, MS-158, all public schools. I'm part of the system. I am the system. I am what they made, right? The public schools say, oh, if you want to make money, go to college. College is good, do what you like to do and go to college, right? So, at that time, I was a kid. I was working in my father's bakery, right? So, I mentioned father because my father was a tyrant in my life. He loved me. He was a very good guy, but he didn't believe in school. He didn't believe in anything but get your ass to work, right? Get to work, right? So basically I was a slave laborer. I mopped floors and washed dishes in a bakery basically my whole life, like till I was about 15, 16. And then at some point I'm like, I saw my father go, tell people to go home. He was like, oh, my son's here now. I don't have to pay you. Go home. I was like, wait a minute. I was like, no, I don't think I could do this anymore, right? Because somebody, even he was my father. I loved him to death, but he was a tyrant, right? He used me as a slave in his bakery. He didn't want me to go to school. He wanted me to do what I wanted to do. He wanted me to do what he wanted to do, right? So eventually, I had the discussion of school with him, and he told me, yeah, no, that's not happening, right? So I did it without him, right? So I went to school, I signed up, and I got my degree in computer networking operations. Right? My father didn't talk to me for about a year, but that's okay. I ended up very well. And so I got the job right out of school, right? I worked for a Fortune 30 company. And, I worked the system the way I was taught to by the school system, right? You got to go to college, right? So I got my degree. I got the job, right? About 10 years later, I feel like I'm still striving to still survive. I got all these degrees. I'm Windows certified in goddamn everything. I'm Linux certified. I got all kinds of certifications, and I'm still suffering. How many times I got to go learn something to make some more money, right? They told me to do something you like, so I like computers, and I did that, and I still wasn't making a living, and then you see doctors and lawyers making a ton of money. It's like, I've done enough school, I think maybe I could do that too, but I don't want to do that, So I think a lot of people are also forced to do what they really don't want to do just to make that green dollar, the godly dollar. And, so at one point I ended up getting sick. And I ended up getting a scar down my chest. They cut me open. It was a colon resection. They took everything out. And I woke up one day and in the hospital, and people are crying around me. I'm like, what's going on? They're like, you almost died. I was like, oh, okay. So, I had time to reflect while I was in the hospital doing nothing. And I'm like, my whole life I've been struggling to get ahead, and I can't, right? And what have I done with my life? I'm working 12 hours a day. I'm the guy who takes all the overtime, right? And I drove 2 hours to get to work and 2 hours to get home, so it was well more than 12 hours a day. Right? So I was like, how do I get out of this, right? Like, so I got sick, and unfortunately, the job let me go, right? So, and an interesting fact, guys, the unemployment that you get, that site that you got to log into, let me tell you how bad this is. The government actually called me and said, oh, we're not sending you any more checks. And I go, why? And they go, oh, because you're in Australia. I'm at home. The VPN I was using they saw I was using a VPN. So it's not about tracking your time or anything in that website. The only thing that website tells them is where you are. As soon as you log in, they know where you are, and they canceled it because of where I was. That's scary. I just logged into a website, right? But that aside, that's an interesting fact. So I got sick. I ended up losing my job. I ended up in the street. I lived out of my car for about 9 months. I'm not the type of guy to ask anybody for help. So I lived out of my car. I went to the gym. I took a shower. I found a new job, a better job actually, and I went to work. And nobody knew I lived on the street. So I made it work. And then I found Satoshi's white paper. Because I really, when you look at your paycheck and you start looking state tax, medical tax, all these other weird things they take out, it's like a third of your goddamn paycheck, right? So how do I fight this? Yeah, right? There's no way to fight it. That's the problem. How do I get out of this? There's no way to get out of this, right? So Bitcoin came along, right, guys? Bitcoin, like, wow, look at this. This is the money that everybody could mind their own business with, right? This is the FU money, right? So I had a great time. The first 3 years of Bitcoin was amazing. It was like the Wild West, innovation coming out of everywhere. We had proof of stake, master nodes, all kinds of crazy things happening. And innovation was amazing during the wild times. And I seen it, right? So about 3-4 years later, we had exchanges asking us for information. So all of a sudden, now these exchanges, and keep in mind, even Circle.com asked for nothing. I was buying so much Bitcoin on Circle.com, they asked for nothing from me. Right? So then all of a sudden, these exchanges started asking for information. Do me a favor. Send in a picture with a smiley face and a newspaper so we can see the date and your license and everything. I'm like, what? No, that's not what this is about. Right? It's about independence. It's about me not giving you my information. That's what this is about. So centralized exchanges, no good, right? So that's where the noose is in crypto. And I don't know how much you guys know about cryptocurrencies, right? But that's where the noose is in all the centralized exchanges. So that's how that was my weapon. I saw cryptocurrency as a weapon to free myself from this slavery. And here we are today, and it kind of did, right? So unfortunately, it didn't do it for everybody, and that's the problem. Right? So we have Bitcoin. How many of you know about Bitcoin, how it works? Raise your hand. Okay, good. About half the crowd here. All right, so that Bitcoin is now being accepted everywhere. We got states accepting it now, and different. You can probably spend it. Anybody will probably take it at this point. Why is the government so happy to use it all of a sudden? Isn't that weird? Isn't that weird that all of a sudden they're accepting of it? It's because they're being traced. Right? So every coin on Bitcoin is traced and monitored. Probably put in a database so they know exactly where that coin's gone, so they don't have to look through the ledger again. And so Bitcoin's no good. And so at some point we needed another solution. Then I found Monero. Like, wow, look at this. FU money again. This is great, right? But the problem is it's traded on centralized exchanges again. So, you know, you got to use local Monero. You got to find all the ways around, and it's a you know, a cluster, right? So, at some point, you know, I still kept with Monero. Monero is the most private cryptocurrency probably in the world. And then about 4 or 5 years later, Pirate Chain came out, right? Another privacy coin. So we only had one. Think about how many coins are out there. It's got to be thousands now, hundreds of thousands of crap coins, right? And they all promise something, and they're all a fork of something, and they all do something special. But if a technology is not built with ethics and privacy from the start, it's no good, right? Because they're not thinking about you. They're not thinking about the person that needs privacy, right? So your privacy is being monitored by all these coins. Every single coin out there is traceable and trackable. Right? So you might have think you found something amazing because this particular coin does something special. But if it doesn't have privacy and do that special thing, it's still no good. And so Cardano, all these coins, even the DeFi, it's like it brings me back to Bitcoin Talk, you know, the forum where people would go on there and troll and try to demonize a coin to get the price down, and now they're just doing it a whole different way. You know, people coming up with coins out of nowhere. There'd be Bitcoin Talk, new coins all day long. And now we're seeing that in the DeFi market. New coins all day long. Oh, this sounds familiar. I've seen this before. You know, and you know, don't believe it, right? So white paper, you know, you read the white paper. Oh, great. But that's not enough. It has to work. It has to work, right? So if it doesn't work now, then, you know, give me a call when it does, right? But don't put your money in something that you know might never happen. Right? There's a lot of great technologies out there. I'm not knocking them intentionally. I do believe we need them because somebody's got to build those other things, and maybe somebody else will take that and implement privacy first, and then we'll have it, right? So experiments do need to happen. Research and development does need to happen, right? But you know, a lot of them are not thinking about you. When you use Bitcoin, who are you helping? You're helping them. Why not just use the bank? If you're being traced and monitored, just use the bank again. Congratulations, you've decentralized the system. But it still works the same way. You're still being traced and monitored. So what'd you do? You did nothing. You helped them. Trace you even easier.
All I know is my CPA asked me for the last couple of years, did I get any Bitcoin? You know, the IRS wants to pay you.
Oh, your certified public accountant wanted to know if you've purchased, and what did you tell them? None of your goddamn business, right?
I hadn't bought any, so I just said no.
Yeah. And keep in mind, obfuscation is a real deal, man. You could do that, right? So it's for ladies in the audience know exactly what I'm talking about. You may not know yet, but you do it all the time, right? Guy comes up to you, won't stop busting your nuts, right? And then you know, you give him a fake phone number. That's obfuscation, right? Here's my number. Don't worry about it. Have a nice day. And you give them like 22222. Right, so that's obfuscation. You don't. When a website says give us your information, don't give them real information. They don't deserve it. What'd you do for me? Nothing. What do you need my information for? Because it's going to go in a database and it's going to get hacked by some hacker, and then you're screwed again. Right? So stop giving away your personal information. Right? Same thing with So, sorry, I lost my train of thought there. So you know, obfuscation is a good tool to use. Phone numbers, emails, any information they ask you for, they don't, unless there's a real valid reason that you know about to give them this information, you don't give them anything, right? How does the government control you? You gave them all your information. They have everything on you. And it's even scarier than that, honestly, because we have smartphones and smart washing machines now and smart toasters. And I mean, these are the dumbest things to use. Why would you want something that's hackable in your house? Right? Back in the day, the way you hacked the network was through the printers. Now you got all these other devices that could be hacked, right? On top of the fact that if you have electric in your house coming in, you got that smart box outside that monitors the electricity. Let me tell you about that box. That box, I can tell you exactly when you turn your TV on, what channel you're watching from the frequency. It's very easy to hack that box outside. They're monitoring everything. They know everything about you. They know your habits. They know when you make coffee in the morning. Oh, you got a smartwatch. Look at you. They know exactly when you're having sex because of your heartbeat, because that's all being sent back to Apple. All those statistics are getting sent back because when you bought those contraptions, it had a terms of service in there. And so the best tools are the ones that don't have terms of services that you got to check when you open it. The first thing I do when I get a computer, I reformat the whole damn thing. Who's using Windows in here?
In a VM.
Still no good. All right, so you should all be using Linux. I suggest Cubes OS if you're good at computers.
Which one? What do you like?
Cubes OS. Cube. It's a very decentralized operating system. Every little piece of that operating system is like a whole different computer. So the little process that works the internet, that gives the operating system internet, has its own IP address. And the storage, where the storage goes, it has its own IP address, like a whole different computer. So the operating itself is all decentralized. And so when they attack, they find the IP address and they attack it. Maybe they'll look for the MAC address and they'll go to Corfer.com and they'll find out exactly what that device is. They'll never find out because it's nothing. It's just a little process and there's nothing to hack there. So it's a very, very cool operating system.
What do you do for a phone?
Librem, Purism. It's a very good phone.
What do you think about Lineage?
I haven't heard of that one yet. Lineage OS?
Yeah, you can load it on like a Motorola G7 and it like gets rid of all the spyware and all that stuff. It's like
Right.
It's open source, right? Just come back to open source without the crap.
Okay.
Spyware.
Well, I mean, it sounds good. I haven't used it myself yet. You know, you could set up your router and set up some filters where you can see what's going in and out. Maybe do a Wireshark and find out what's going in and out. You'll have to do some. I'll have to do some testing on that.
I looked at that phone and it's. Are there like any apps for it though? Because it's its own thing, right?
Right. And that's the hardest part, right? In order to get these apps, you got to sign the agreement. You got to give them personal information again. And not even that, the apps themselves. Say you got a phone with 500 apps. All those apps are tracing you in all different ways. They're tracking you in different ways. So you got to rethink everything you've done. There was a paradigm shift somewhere in life, right? Between the older folks like me and the younger folks like you guys. You guys are going to grow up in the internet age. What we had was, we had pen and paper, right? Things with pen and paper. But then when we went to the internet, we got old people like my aunts. Oh, this is so nice. Oh, look how easy it is, right? Oh, what I got to do? I got to log in? Right? So they don't know what was going on. They had no idea. But at the same time, their IP address was getting stolen. All their cookies in the browser told advertisers like Google exactly what these people wanted because they took all your data, all your cookies. They knew what you were searching. They knew you wanted to quit cigarettes. They knew you were pregnant. They knew you were a musician. They know everything about you. And then they take that information and they sell it. They sell it. And that's how Google became billionaires, because they sold your information without your knowledge. Right? So it was a sad time to see people doing these things for me, because I know they don't understand. But at the same time, nobody warned them. Nobody told them, if you log into my website, I'm going to track everything you got. I'm gonna see where you came from, and the information you gave me, don't worry, I'll keep it safe. Yeah, right. All right, so, so the world needs privacy. It's very important. If you're not being private, you're not a pirate, right? Pirates don't give information away. We free people. Maybe we beat people up sometimes. That's what we do. I like to tell you guys that, all my time in this world so far, cryptocurrency has really reinvigorated my love for technology again, right? So I used to, my first toy as a kid was a car, and the first thing I did was take it apart. And I wanted to see how the engine worked, and then my father beat me to a pulp. But I had it back together the next day, perfectly working again, right? I've always been in, I get computers when I was younger, I take them apart and I put them back together, I make new ones, I mix and match, I had fun. That's why I went into computers. And then the job made me sick of computers. You know, I got depressed. I was like, I used to come home and go, I don't even want to fix the damn thing anymore. I've been fixing computers all day. It's such a monotonous thing to do. So then crypto came along and wow, look at all this new technology. This is cutting edge stuff. This is amazing technology. And if you're not getting involved, then you're going to be lost. Because especially you guys, you young guys, Bitcoin is going to be accepted. So cryptocurrency is going to be your life. Because they want Bitcoin, because it's being tracked and traced, right? Now, Bitcoin can be private. It can be, but unfortunately, there's a lot of rules to follow to be private. You know, freedom is not free, right? So you have to use Tor. You have to use a VPN. You know, you should be using a more anonymous operating system. You know, so, and people don't do this. You should never send the coin from one exchange to another exchange. Never do that. Nobody knows that, right? And now they're even tainting coins. They're tainting Bitcoin. They're refusing your Bitcoin. So now they're not taking your money. All right, so what are you, God? What are you, Jesus Christ? You could do something like that? How you get around that, guys? You know how to get around that? You send the coin to a good wallet, one that's not been compromised, because if it comes from like something like Trade Ogre, they don't take it. But if they see it coming from a different wallet, all of a sudden their algorithm accepts it. So no longer a tainted coin anymore? It don't make sense, right? Maybe your algorithm sucks, right? Maybe it should be 2 levels deep in the ledger or 3 level transactions deep, right? So that's how you get around that, guys. Don't be using Facebook. Don't be using these things. Those also are very bad. You need to look into privacy and security, right? Developers, I believe, will be the kings of this world. We don't fight anymore on the streets, right? I've seen these things on TV where people throwing bottles at cops. They're people. They're just people too, like you. They probably don't even like their jobs, honestly. Most of them don't. He's like, oh, you know, I had a cop pull me over. He's like, I'm just trying to get through the day. Okay. I could appreciate honesty, right? I also had some cops, you know, pull me over and say, oh, you know, a piece of cellophane fell out the window. What are you, crazy? And he actually said, what are you, effing stupid? He said that to me. And I went nuts as a pirate, right? I was like, did you just call me stupid? Are you kidding me? He looked at the other cop on the other side of my window, and he walked away, and he left. I was like, oh, that's all I had to do was get angry? And he left. All right, so don't get scared of them. They're just people. Unfortunately, a lot of them don't want to be in the spot that they're in. I do feel bad for a lot of them for being where they are. But, you know, that's just their person. That outfit they wear, it's just their person. You know, so any cop that comes to my window, I'm always defensive because it's just a person with a gun, right? I don't know if you had your root canal put in today. I don't know if you're fighting with your wife today, right? And you're angry, right? And you're itching to do something. I don't know who you are, right? I don't know who you are. That's a stranger. Government for me is also a stranger, right? So I look at it like this. We're all animals in this world, right? We were all born on the same ground, right? And then all of a sudden some stranger comes out of nowhere and says, these are the rules. Because, you know, I'm a stranger. No, I'm not following your rules. I'm not paying your money. I'm not paying anybody. You keep your extortion fees to yourself. Right? So, and how do you do that, guys? Do you know how to hide your money in the mattress? Because back in the day, there was such a thing. Now there isn't because they monitor every dollar that comes in and out of the bank. And most of you probably do have bank accounts, sadly. How do you hide your money in the mattress? I gave it to you earlier. Monero, Pirate Chain. Those are the only 2 anonymous cryptocurrencies out there. All of the other ones can be traced and tracked, or they have some type of metadata leakage. Right, so those are the only 2 cryptocurrencies you really need to concern yourself with, unless there's another one that comes out and pushes privacy, because privacy is freedom, right? You know, freedom is, like I said, it's not free. Everything around you is not real. And what I mean by that is your house, do you own it? Who here is a homeowner? Am I a homeowner? Okay. Do you own your house? Do you own it?
No, not
Right. No, none of you do. Why? Because you need to ask permission. Right? Every little thing you do in your house, you need to ask permission. I got to chop down this tree. I got to get a permission. I want to put up a fence. I need a permit. It's not yours. Guess what? It's not yours. The car you own, you think that's yours too? Do you have the MSO to the car? No. It's not yours. Why do I have to pay registrations fee? No, because you have a partner. He's called the government. And he wants to make sure that car is okay. Because you have a partner. It's not your car. Okay? I mean, if it's not coming directly from the cow, it's just the cheese product. You know, it's not real cheese. Right? So, you know, I want you to take a deeper look at everything around you. What do you own? What do you really own? Just that body. Everybody was born with one piece of property. That's your body. That's yours. Nobody could take that away from you, unless you're forced to do something to your body that you don't want to do. Right? You should get those vaccines. They're good for you. Yeah. So it's a very sad day when I see them taking people's last piece of property, and that's your body. All right? I don't want to make this too long. I'm not sure how long I've been going for. You know, I kind of did this a cappella. I actually had a whole speech for you, but I totally went blank. You guys have any questions about privacy and security?
So you said Monero and Pirate are like the two players in the game. I mean, how big of an opportunity is this? Like, can we put that in perspective for everyone that's like smart to be here, to be honest? Like,
Yes,
it's
yes.
smart to be here.
So, like I said, you want to hide your money in the mattress, it's Pirate and Monero. It's a lot of people get into crypto because they think they're going to get rich quick, and it's really sad because the technology is so amazing that it could free us, and nobody sees that but me. I feel like sometimes it really is a weapon to fight these tyrants, and there's tyrants everywhere. You got to be aware of tyrants. Anybody could be a tyrant. Somebody's telling you what to do, they're a goddamn tyrant. All right? On my team in Pirate Chain, I run the R&D team. Nobody has titles because we have no tyrants. Understand? I want everybody to be on a level playing ground. So why is this guy got a title and why does that guy? I don't want no titles. We're all the same. Right? So yeah, please really think about what you're investing in. All right? If you're looking to get rich quick, good luck to you. But I really want you to embrace the technology of privacy and where this is going.
I don't know that much about the background or development of Duke Leto and this Hushcoin net. I listened to a podcast with Survivalist who's on. He was saying how that's now a branch off of that. He was like one of the big developers on Pirate Chain. Is that true? Or
Yeah, yeah, we know Duke. Trust me. Yeah, you don't want to even look at that. So let me tell you about the coins that want to be us. You can't do it anymore. Once the coin started, it's already too late. If it's not started from inception, then you have so many transparent transactions out there. What are you going to do about all those? They're already done. People own it already. What are you going to do? I already know that money went to that guy right over there with the beer in his hand because he used the transparent transactions before you switched over to total anonymity, right? So it has to be done from inception or else it can't be done. So anybody says that they're going to do that, that's not going to happen. And I got stories about that guy too. He lost his marbles, so don't listen to him.
Well, the guy from like the podcast he was on, ended up calling him a liar. I don't know after that because it was just early June. So
Okay.
I don't know what's going on with that, but it's kind of odd.
Yeah, I knew him for a minute.
I know a lot of people lost money, like on the off the Telegram, and said, "Well, you got to get Duke to get your money back, or or get the loss." So
Yeah, there's a lot of shady people out. There's a lot of shady people out there. A lot of crazy people out there. You got to really be careful in the coins you research. The way I research a coin and should see that it's valuable is number one, its uniqueness. Is it forked off of something? Is it a clone of something? What makes it unique in the technology? Not just words, not just white papers. I want to see it work. I want to see when I use it. I want to see what cool things it does, right? So that uniqueness. A team. Does it have a team? Because a real blockchain, not this DeFi crap, a real blockchain is very hard to maintain, right? So you need people who know what they're doing. So they need a good team. If I want to know that what skills they have, and if they're capable of restarting a chain that has come to a halt, or maybe there's some other problems, because those things happen, right? And a team and ethics and privacy, That's how I pick my coins, and I think I've done pretty well so far.
What makes Pirate Chain special?
What makes Pirate Chain special? Okay, so I'm not going to compare it to any other coin but Monero, because there is no comparison. Monero is like the Ferrari, and Pirate Chain is like the Lamborghini. Two different engines, both heading to the same place with the same idea in mind. We're going to be the fastest, we're going to be the strongest, and nobody could touch us, right? Same idea with Monero and Pirate Chain. Two different engines getting to the same place, privacy, because privacy is freedom. And they know that, the whole community knows that. So the difference is that they use an algorithm called ring CT. And ring CT is an old cryptography, and it uses a shuffling system. So it has like 12 rings, and when a transaction goes in, it shuffles them around amongst the 12. And it's still really amazing, and it still works. Even though CipherTrace said, and the truth of the matter is they took your money, your tax money, to investigate you. And then they said, we almost got it. We almost figured it out. And it's like, dude, it's either the ball is in the hoop or it's not. Right? Did you figure it out or not? Right? So all that money they took from you to figure it out just went down the drain. Right? Because they didn't. Right? So Monero is still strong. Right? And now they're going to remove, I heard, to 124 rings. And at that point, I think it'll be pretty much impossible for CipherTrace to even look at it. What makes Pirate Chain special? Pirate Chain has a different ZK Snarks algorithm, and what I love about it is that there's something called an anonymity set, right? An anonymity set is a rating that a developer gives a chain to show how private it is. To see, it's a rating. It's actually a pool of transactions, right? So Monero has 12 rings, bulletproofs, some other protection layers. That gives it about a non-set of 15, right? Pirate, when I started, had an non-set of 130,000. And the more people use it, the more that number goes up. Today, after our recent popularity thing, because I've been doing this for 2 years, I didn't expect that to happen. We're at over 500,000 anonymity sets. So that means every time your transaction hits that pool, it's going inside all those five. It's getting mixed with all those five. It's lost. It's lost. It's the abyss. It went into the abyss. With 12, it's possible to undo things. It's possible. They didn't do it though. So that's what I love. It's a technology that gets stronger the more people use it, and that's a great idea. It's a great way of working, right? It's like IPFS. I don't know if you guys know interplanetary filing system. It's a great technology as well. The more people use it, the faster it goes. That's a great technology, unlike the structure we have in ISPs today, where the more people that use it, the more wires they need, and the more routers they need, and the bigger, they got to make their devices bigger. No, this is the opposite. This is a great technology because you don't need more hardware to make it work better. You need more people to use it. And the more people use it, the better it gets. The more anonymous it gets, the more hands it goes through, right? So utility makes that, more. So how free can this get? Let me give you a vision, all right? Atomic swaps. Anybody here know what atomic swaps are? Okay, good. All right, so I'm waiting big time for that. Right? That is what's going to free us from this market. Why do you think it's so popular? Everybody doing decentralized exchanges, right? Okay, it's a good marketing word, but are you truly a decentralized exchange? Because there's so many parts to a decentralized exchange. You got the order books, you got the matcher, the chain it's on. There's so many aspects to it that maybe one aspect of it is centralized, which is, for the most part, that's the problem. Maybe the order books part is centralized, which is typical for many of them. But it's not fully decentralized, so it's not a decentralized exchange. I'm sorry. You decentralized a little bit, but not enough. But with atomic swaps, we're going to have true decentralized exchanges where me and you, we're gonna trade coins, and me and you will trade coins, and nobody could get involved with that, government or anybody, right? Because there's no middleman anymore. There's no central entity to go to and say, listen, I'm gonna need you. I'm gonna give you. I'm gonna knight you. You're now KYC qualified to route out all your people to me, the government, right? That's what they do. They deputize you, and they force shop owners to rat out their loyal customers. You're turn people into rats. What happens there? People get angry at each other. It causes problems. People no longer love each other. They're getting rid of love with regulations. Right? I think I went on a whole different tangent there, but you know, so swaps, atomic swaps will bring a free world to us because we'll have direct markets where we can transact directly with each other, and they can't stop it anymore. Especially if you use Monero and Pirate. They can't stop it because they can't see it. And if you can't see it, you can't stop it, right? And then people go, oh, but you know, if I put a website up and you know, they're gonna shut it down, and you know, there's other ways to shut us down. Well, that's what IPFS is for. That's all these great technologies in crypto. That's why crypto is amazing. It's the most amazing thing that's ever happened to me. I want it to be the most amazing thing that happened to you guys too. Right, so please, stop giving away your information to strangers. All right, everybody's a goddamn stranger. Do you know who I am? I'm a stranger. Do you know who I am? All right, she's my wife. But anyway, so you know, please, guys, I want to leave you with this. If you don't do it for yourself, do it for your children. All right, because you don't want them to live in a world where people are telling them what to do. You don't want people stealing their goddamn money. All right, you steal my son's money, I will kill you. Right, because when you mess with somebody's money, you mess with their life. And people who don't have money know that the best. Right, and I lived on the streets for 9 months out of my car, and I could tell you, it's not fun. Going to the dollar menu every night at Wendy's trying to live, it's not fun. All right, guys. All right.
I got 2 things for you.
Oh, yeah, more questions. Yeah, sure.
10 minutes.
All right.
First, 2. I'm not going to ask you how to become private. What's a good way to start thinking about the privacy? Not like a whole, just, I'm going to look at, you know, all the things that are happening right now, right?
Right.
You got a couple of minutes.
Sure.
How to start to think about your backdoor and saving from everybody else.
Yes. So the first thing you guys do, especially if you own cryptocurrency, get yourself a whole separate laptop just for that. Don't mix it with the computer that you watch porn on. That's really bad. All right? You got pop-ups, you got spyware, you got all kinds of things. Your computer has already been compromised if you use Windows or Mac. It's already compromised. But that's where you should start. Separate your identities, right? So when you do those things that you don't want other people to do or to know about, and you want to stay private, you do it on your separate identity, right? LooTz Freeman, right? Make a whole different name for yourself. You don't obfuscation. You don't have to give anybody any information ever, and they don't deserve it. Right? So get yourself a Linux operating system. Learn how to use Linux. You young people, learn how to use Linux. Stop being lazy. Right? So Linux first. Get yourself a separate operating system, and use that. Learn how to use it. Download your stuff to it. Make sure you have VPN. You guys know what VPNs are? Okay? Virtual private networks. They hide your IP address, right? If you want to get creative, use multiple VPNs. The more the merrier, right? Because what happens is if they subpoena that VPN company and they want your information and they give it to them, they say, oh, it came from this IP address, and then they'll see your real IP address, right? But if you have 2 VPNs, then they'll have to go to the other company because they only see the other company's IP address now. So now they got to go to another company and say, now we need to see your records, right? And if you have 9, imagine what you're going to put them through, burdello that you're going to put them through, right? So start there. VPNs, I2P. Learn how to use I2P in Tor. That's one of the biggest educational things you could do for yourself is learn how to use these tools. Like Pirate Chain is just a tool for your financial privacy, right? Oh, well, it does anonymous messaging as well and other things, other cool things, but financial privacy, your home privacy, there's a lot of aspects to your privacy. That Easy Pass, that that you're driving all around with. They know exactly where you are all the time. Why would you use that thing? Why? Because it's convenient, right? It's sad. I2P, Tor, when you're browsing, use DuckDuckGo. Do not use Google. Stay the F away from Google, please. All right, because you're making them richer for no reason.
Why is pirate chain so freaking hard to buy?
It's just not popular yet, man. It's just, I've been in, I feel, at one point, like a year and a half ago, there was only like a few people in the community. There's nobody there. And so I think it's just not popular enough yet. We have a lot of devs coming in. And I think once popularity, becomes more popular, I think exchanges will start adding it on their own.
Jeff Berwick was talking about it in November or something, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna sit down and do this. And it took me like half a day to actually like get it through Trade Ogre, and it was a total nightmare.
All right.
I made a whole list of like how I did it, and then I put it on this chat thing on Berwick's thing, and I got slammed by people because they were like, everyone was having a problem with it. They were like so grateful for my little check.
Let me tell you how I buy pirate, all right? KYC free. Anybody here a cop? Okay. So I go to localmonero.co. Once you meet somebody there, you're probably going to buy from the same guy most of the time. Buy Monero. Use it like you do Bitcoin. Bitcoin's no good. Use Monero. All right, so use Monero like you use Bitcoin. I see Monero like the gold and pirate at the moment like the silver, even though I believe it can, we're young still, so it'll take time. But still, the same idea, they're both amazing. You send it, you go to local Monero, you get yourself some Monero, and then you send it over to polarity.exchange, because that's a non-custodial exchange. So at least if it goes down, you're not losing your coins. Right, or it gets hacked or whatnot, because that's happened. I've lost over 30 Bitcoin to exchanges going down, okay, in the last 10 years I've been here. So that's how I buy it. I go to local Monero, I buy the Monero, I send it over to Trade Ogre, and I buy as much pirate as I want. It's still all KYC free. Any other?
Why couldn't you do that same thing with any crypto that you obtained that's not with your identity?
Say that again?
Why couldn't you do what you just said with local Bitcoin? If you obtain the Bitcoin and it's not linked to your identity, what's the difference? You can trace it.
The difference is you can't buy Bitcoin without KYC. It's really hard.
What if you give somebody cash and they give you Bitcoin?
That works. That's fine. Bitcoin could have been as good as Monero and Pirate if it was fungible.
It's anonymous until the point that you put it on an exchange that's linked to your identity.
Right. Exactly. Well, if Satoshi thought about the user, not just the chain, if he actually thought about you guys using it, which I did technical support for many years. That's how you start on help desk in these computer places. Right? So everybody usually starts in a help desk position, and you start realizing what people really don't know. They don't know anything, right? So Satoshi didn't really keep that in mind. And so what I think the Bitcoin wallet should have started with was a button at the top that says connected to Tor. VPN first. You connect your VPN first all the time, and then you connect to Tor. And then once those two lights are green, transact all you want. And if he did that, we wouldn't even need Pirate and Monero today, because it would have been fungible. And fungibility, you guys know what fungibility means? All right. So in Austrian economics, a sound currency needs many things, but one thing that every currency, especially the dollar, don't have is fungibility. And what that means is, gold is fungible, right? Gold is amazing money, right? Ron Paul would tell you that. And if that bar of gold was stolen from a bank like 10 years ago, right, with those serial numbers on it, and somehow you bought it, nothing wrong with you, you didn't do anything bad, and now you have it, you're like, oh look, I bought my first bar of gold, and then this guy comes along and goes, oh, wait a minute, these serial numbers over here, this was stolen from a bank 10 years ago. We're gonna have to take that away from you. And they take it away. But with gold, you can melt that down, make it look like some type of statue or a piece of jewelry. They would not know what it was anymore. That's fungibility. They can't take it away from you. Once they could take coins away from you, it's no good anymore. Any other questions?
Are you planning on murdering
No, I was ready to. I was ready to die yesterday, so I have no fears. I don't have any fear anymore, and this is why I do what I do, right? Because this would be dangerous for many of you.
What do you think of the trusted setup that's involved with ZK Snarks?
Yes. Okay. Yeah. So a lot of Monero people will attack the trusted setup, and I understand because that's probably the only thing they can attack. There's a couple things to that. Number one, Halo 2 will be fixing that the next update, as well as if you ever looked into the ceremony of Tau, right? So TAU, I believe it is TAU, ceremony of Tau. Right? Look into how that works, because the way it works is you have about it's a ceremony of, I think, 67 or 87 people, 81 people. And all that needs to happen is for one guy to flush the toxic waste, and the whole thing's okay. So everybody would have, all those 81 people would have to collude in order for the trusted setup not to work.
And is that what Pirate Chain used?
Yes. Yes. So ceremony of Tau.
81 people out there.
Random people all over the world.
Only one of them had to be good.
Only one of them had to throw it in the garbage, and that's it. It's all okay. So literally 99.999 chance of 81 people colluding together. If you want that to scare you off, then go ahead. What can I tell you? Any other questions?
I don't understand any of the technology, but do you think Pirate is superior to Monero based on some of the algorithms? I
No.
don't quite get that.
Absolutely not. Like I said,
Two different
two different cars, two different vehicles going to the same place. All right, so Monero at some point, maybe I envision Monero like 5 years from now having 5 million rings, that would be so awesome. Having, and ZK Snarks implemented into their, actually they have that, it's called bulletproofs. So, yeah, I mean, everything gets better in crypto. Unfortunately, after the regulations, it's slowed down a lot. I've seen it with my eyes, but everything gets better. Technology grows, and that's why I got into technology, because there's always something to learn. It's amazing. It just keeps growing and getting better, and people are doing it with their hearts. They're not doing it for money.
It is amazing to me that we don't know so much. The only reason I know what a VPN is because of COVID-19, and I had to work from home. I work for a hospital. I had to have a VPN.
Correct. Remember, everything you do on that VPN, they're tracing and tracking you.
Oh, yeah.
That's not your VPN.
Yeah. Oh, that's just for work.
Exactly. Exactly.
But people don't even know what that is. And then you tell them, well, you have to have a set of things to get the VPN to work on your laptop at home that people don't know how to do. So the help desk comes in and shows you how to load up the VPN.
Right. But keep in mind, once you connect to that VPN, I could see everything. I used to be that guy. I used to send reports to the bosses telling them how much somebody cruised the internet, and that's how they would tell who got hired and who didn't.
Yeah.
That's a real thing.
Yeah, there's no privacy.
And a lot of times I would lie.
But
Nope, he didn't cruise the internet much at all. 4 websites, literally like 500 and change, but 4 websites. I'm not going to dick anybody over because of something stupid like that.
to rate this product, you can't just go in and put 5 stars or something. You have to put down your email address. You have to give them all this information to
Right.
rate their stupid
Right.
product.
Lie.
I don't even rate it anymore because it's ridiculous.
Lie. Obfuscation. It's a great tool. It's another tool in your box of tools. All right, brother. All right, guys. Love you all. Some hats. Anybody want hats? Yeah.
Great,
Nice to meet you.
great presentation.
Thank you. Thank you.
I work to eat and sleep and just repeat. I wonder, is is this the life for me? I followed all the rules and did my best. But tragedy put my will to the test. When I found some answers, I spoke up. Then I was cast into the shadows, they chained me up. No, I won't forget the things that they said. And you don't know the places I have been. People said that I was wrong all along. I stayed strong. Batten down the hatches. This is the calm before the storm. The system has been broken, and soon will be no more. The tools, they can enslave us, but they can set us free. This is the last stand for our freedom and our privacy. No, I won't forget the things that they said. And you don't know the places I